In this video, I'm gonna give you the exact formula to transform how your body feels in just 30 days. Hey, and if you want a community that can help keep you accountable and help support you through this process, make sure you click the link below so you don't have to go it alone. Okay, so the number one thing that you need to feel different 30 days from now is consistency on some basic movements that were designed to help you feel better in your body. So here's how this video is gonna work. First, we're gonna go over 3 different warm-up movements and tell you exactly how long to do each one of these warm-ups so that your body can feel good and be prepared for the workout that I'll also be teaching you. After that, we're gonna do a lower body, an upper body, and a core movement. I'm gonna teach you 3 variations of each to make sure that you have beginner, intermediate, and advanced versions to make sure you have the perfect fit for you. And finally, I'll tell you how to put it into a simple workout that you can follow along to from the comfort of your own home 3 days a week to feel significantly different in your body in just 30 days. Let's dive in. Okay, for the first warm-up move, you're gonna do 1 minute of deep breathing. So here's how that works. You're gonna put your hand on your belly and your hand on your chest. And what you're gonna do is try to breathe in through your nose if you can, while pushing out the belly and not pushing out the chest, and then out through your nose if you can. If you have to, you can breathe through your mouth too. Breathe in nice and slow, and see if you can breathe out even slower, as relaxed as much as possible. Now, why we focus on deep breathing for our warm-ups is this helps prepare the nervous system, bringing you down into more of a rest and digest mode of the nervous system, allowing you to focus, which means you'll be able to do these movements with better form. Plus, you can use this deep breathing any time of day to help relax your body, de-stress, and feel good. So do this deep breathing motion for 60 seconds and then go to the next warm-up movement. Okay, the next warm-up is going to be 60 seconds of standing side bends. So here's how it goes. You're gonna have your feet right underneath your hips with your toes facing forward. One hand goes on your hip, the other hand goes over your head, and you're gonna point your thumb backwards like this. As you lean to the side, don't just try to collapse your ribs towards the ground, but rather try to reach this side of your ribs toward the sky. That creates length in the spine, which makes your back feel so much better. Inhale as you come to the side, exhale as you stand back tall, just like this. Try to go a little bit deeper on each repetition as you go from side to side, just like this. And remember, you don't have to reach super far to the side. Even if you just reach your arm up to the sky like this with a slight bend, it can also be a fantastic warm-up for your body. Once you've done 60 seconds of side bends, let's warm you up with the final warm-up move. Okay, for the final warm-up move, we're gonna warm up your whole body with a move called standing marching. And you can use a chair next to you for support and balance, okay? So here's what to do. Start with your feet straight forward, and we're gonna start real slow at first. First, you're gonna lift your knee up, lift your toe towards your nose, this toe right here, and you're gonna lift your arm up. And then as you switch to the other side, you're gonna try to lift everything on the opposite side just like this. So it's just like marching, but we're being really mindful about it, trying to lift this knee up really high, which fires your core and strengthens your hip flexors, trying to lift your toes towards your nose, which strengthens this muscle right here on the shin, which is great for people with bad knees, and warming up our entire body, okay? So just going back and forth like this in a slow and controlled fashion for 60 whole seconds is going to warm up our whole body and prepare us for the workout that's ahead. Now, once you've done 60 seconds of this, then you can shake it out. Next step is I'm gonna teach you the 3 different movements and the 3 levels of each movement. Just pick the variation that feels like the right fit for you, and then after I teach you those, I'll tell you how to put them together into a simple workout you can do from home to feel better in just 30 days. Okay, the first movement progression I'm gonna teach you is around a movement called the sit to the stand. And we're gonna start with a beginner variation, which is a supported sit to stand. So here's how to do it. Take your feet slightly outside of hip width with your toes slightly turned outward. Now what you're gonna wanna do right here is look down and make sure that your knees and your thigh bones are pointing the same direction as your toes. And make sure you have this throughout the whole movement. If at any point your knees wobble in like this, it's going to cause damage to the insides or the outsides of your knees, which is eventually gonna cause pain as well. So make sure those knees are going the same direction as your toes. Next, let's focus on the feet. Your heel should be in contact with the ground, as well as both sides of your foot right here. I like to tell people, imagine that you have about 30% of the weight on the front of the foot and about 70% of the weight on the heels. Another thing that you can do to help strengthen the feet is to squeeze the ground with your toes. So if you can, go barefoot, squeeze the ground and grip the ground with your toes as you're doing this movement. Now the next step is to set up for the start of the movement. So start by getting a nice tall posture, bringing your belly button between your thighs like this, and then putting your hands down on your knees. Now it's important here to not round your back as you come forward. We want to maintain a nice flat back and neutral spine the entire time. As you put your hands on your knees, you're gonna take a big breath in, you're gonna squeeze your tummy muscles, and you're gonna push your hands down into your knees while pushing your heels down into the ground. That's gonna help you rise off the chair. So it looks like this. Bow forward, big breath in, push down, lift your butt off the chair, use your arms. Even if you have to, you can walk them up your thighs, come to a standing position, and then reverse the motion by starting with the butt going backwards, hands going on the knees, and then keeping the weight mostly on the heels as you slowly come down and repeat. So inhale here, exhale here, inhale here, exhale here, and go slow and controlled if you're on this first variation, okay? Now, if this is too easy for you, meaning you can do at least 10 repetitions of this easily with perfect form, then let's remove the support and let's do regular sits of stands without the use of our arms. So it looks like this, arms out front, everything else is the same. Bow forward, big breath in, push through the heels, extend the hips as we stand nice and tall and exhale. This time we can cut the breathing rhythm in half. So we can go inhale down, exhale, up, just like this. Inhale down, exhale up. Now if this still feels good and everything feels like you're doing it with good form, we can add a little hop at the top. That's gonna make this motion even more effective because you're gonna be using more of your fast twitch muscle fibers and increasing the cardiovascular output. So it looks like this. Inhaling down, butt touches the chair. As we stand up, hop at the top. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And just make sure that while you're doing this, you're not wobbling your knees around like this. You're not rounding your back forward and backward. We should always focus on form first, intensity second. All right? So now that I showed you those 3 variations, pick the variation that feels like the right fit for you. Keep that in mind because I'll show you how to put it into a workout after I teach you the next 2 moves. Okay, the next move is an upper body movement that stretches and strengthens your entire upper body. It's one of my favorite. It's called the Hindu push-up. I'm gonna start by showing you the beginner variation first, which is a high chair up, down dog. Now, what you're gonna want is a chair that's nice and sturdy. I don't want you pushing against it and it's sliding out on you. You can also use a countertop for support, whatever's about waist height to do this movement. What you're gonna do is step back, put your hands on top of that surface, and then find a good plank position. So here's the starting point. Don't stick your butt out like this, and don't let your hips sag down like this. Both of those movements put pressure on the lower back. Instead, squeeze the glutes and tuck the pelvis just like this. If we keep the glutes squeezed, that protects the lower back and helps strengthen the core as we do this. Now from there, what we're gonna do is open our chest by turning our elbow pits forward and looking up at the sky and allowing our hips to come down just a little bit, and then pushing back, and allowing our body to come between our arms, imagining there's a weight right there on our sternum pulling us down, so creating some mobility. And as we come back up, I don't want you just to stand up with your lower body, I want you to push down into the chair to try and get back to that position as you come up again and back down again. We're gonna exhale here, we're gonna inhale here, going back and forth. Now, if this is too easy for you, then we can do a variation of this movement on the ground called the up, down, dog. And so here's what that looks like. You're gonna come into a downward dog position, not focusing on your calves and hamstrings, but focusing on the mobility of your shoulders and your upper back. So what that means is this. Hands come down to the ground. We got nice wide fingers, grip the ground with the fingers. That helps strengthen the hands and the wrist. Walk your feet back. You're gonna push your butt up towards the sky. Don't worry about your heels coming down to the ground. Instead, lift your butt and imagine trying to bring your chest towards your thighs. Now in this position, we're gonna slowly come forward, and then we're gonna squeeze the glutes as we come through the plank position. We're gonna keep the shoulders open, so turning the elbow pits forward, opening the shoulders, dropping the hips, and looking up at the sky. If you need to, you can drop your knees down to the ground and use your knees for support. Now as we come back up, we're gonna reverse the motion. Take a big breath in, push our toes in the ground, push our shoulders forward. So I'm pushing my hands forward like this as I lift my butt up. Come into that stretch again. Again, don't worry about the calves or the hamstrings. Worry about how close you can bring your chest towards your thighs, and just go back and forth in this motion right here, okay? Now, if this is easy enough for you, I'm gonna show you the full Hindu push-up, which is where we're gonna add a bend to the elbows as we come down and through into that upward dog position, okay? This is a lot more challenging, so at first, just do a small bend to the elbows, and over time, you can make progress by bending the elbows more and more on each repetition. So it starts the same as before, coming into the downward dog position. We're gonna take that big breath in, and then we're gonna try to bring our nose towards the mat and push our elbows out as we come down and forward into the upward dog position, pulling the shoulder blades back and down right here, and then we're gonna push the butt up and back. So this is the full Hindu push-up, the advanced variation. And the closer we can get our nose to the ground, our whole body towards the ground, before we press up that upward dog, the more challenging this will be for us, all right? So now that you know the 3 variations of the upper body move, pick the one that feels like the right fit for you, store that one in your brain, and let's teach you the core movement next, and then we'll talk about how to put it together into a simple workout. For the third movement, we're gonna focus on your core by doing a leg raise progression. So here's how to start. This is the beginner variation. You're gonna start by pushing your fingertips away from your ears and turning your palms toward the sky. From there, try to push your lower back into the ground as you do each one of these movements. This is gonna help protect the lower back and activate the core even more. You can also lift your head up like this, or if you need to, you can bring a pillow and put it behind your head for extra support, okay? Now, the first variation is you're gonna bring both of your knees up like this, and all we're gonna do is take a big belly breath in, and we're gonna lower one leg, and then we're gonna bring that knee up as high as we can. We're gonna take a big belly breath in, lower that leg, and bring that knee up as high as we can. Going back and forth just like this. Now, if this is too easy for you, and you can do this for at least a minute with perfect form without lifting that lower back off the ground, then the next variation for you is our intermediate variation. You're gonna make about a 90-degree bend of the knees, and this time, you're gonna bring both legs down at the same time. If at any point your lower back starts to lift off the ground, then you know you went too far and it's not the right variation for you. So again, fingertips away from the ears, palms toward the sky, big inhale, heels come down to the ground, and then bring them back up, just like this. Inhale down, exhale up, keeping the lower back pushing the ground. Now, if you can do 10 of these, then we're gonna do a straight leg variation. We're gonna straighten the legs, we're gonna point the toes, do the exact same thing. Come down as we inhale, bring the feet right above the ground, come back up, exhale. Inhale down, exhale up, and try to squeeze the legs together too. That can really help activate the legs and make this movement even more challenging. So, those are the 3 variations of the leg raise. Now that you know these 3 different movements and the 3 variations of each, let's put them together into a simple workout that you can do for the next 30 days to feel amazing again. Okay, at the start of this video, I promised you a 30-day plan that will help you feel better. And so, here's what you need to do. Over the next 30 days, your goal should be to do the workout that I'm about to describe to you 3 days per week, so at least 12 workouts. One of the best ways to do this is to print out a 30-day calendar and circle the days that you want to do these workouts. And if for any reason you miss a workout, just make sure you make it up the next day or the day after that. The goal is 12 workouts in 30 days, because you'd be surprised how much consistency can make a huge difference on how your body feels. Now, for the workout itself, we're gonna take everything you just learned and put it together into a simple routine. So here's how it works. You're gonna do the 3 warm-up movements for 1 minute each. So 1 minute of deep breathing, followed by 1 minute of standing side bends, followed by 1 minute of standing marching. Now, once you're warmed up, you're gonna shake it out, and what you're gonna do is 60 seconds of work, followed by 20 seconds of rest on each one of the 3 movements that you selected for your body. So you're gonna pick between the beginner, intermediate, and advanced version of the sit-to-stand, the beginner, intermediate, and advanced version of the Hindu push-up, and the beginner, intermediate, and advanced version of the leg raise. Pick one variation that feels like the right fit for you. You'll do 1 minute of the sit-to-stands, rest for 20 seconds. 1 minute of Hindu push-ups, rest for 20 seconds. 1 minute of leg raises, rest for 20 seconds, and you'll repeat that sequence 3 times around. This whole routine will only take you about 15 minutes to complete, but I promise you, if you do this 12 times over the next 30 days, you're gonna feel so much stronger, so much more flexible, and have so much coordination in your body that your body is gonna feel so much better. So why not give it a shot? Oh, and remember, if you need to have accountability and support, make sure you join our community and try out our free challenge. All you have to do is click the link in the description and you can do it for free.